So I actually knocked over a water pitcher inside my fridge the other day.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it was a mess. I didn't even notice until the next morning, and I just assumed the bottom shelf of groceries was completely ruined. But sitting in this pool of freezing water at the very back was this perfectly crisp, just totally miraculous survivor of a bell pepper.
That is actually a really perfect parallel for the sources we are looking at for today's deep dive.
Right, exactly. That happy accident completely mirrors the spark for this topic.
It really does. Because back in 2024, researchers studying common eastern bumblebee queens experienced a very similar refrigerator flood. Condensation accidentally filled up the vials holding these hibernating insects.
And naturally, they assumed the bees were, well, they assumed they had drowned.
Exactly, but when they pulled them out, the queens were moving.
Which is why our mission today is to unpack the biological mechanisms that allow these fuzzy terrestrial insects to survive underwater for over a week. It is just this awe-inspiring showcase of nature's brilliant optimism and resilience.
Yeah, that serendipitous fridge accident actually led to a dedicated study. The research team took 143 diapausing queens.
Diapausing just means hibernating, right?
Right, hibernating. And they fully submerged a group of them in cold water for 7 days.
And the results from the source material are just staggering. About 81% of those fully submerged queens survived the entire week underwater.
And even more impressive, their long-term winter survival rate showed virtually no difference compared to the dry bees. They basically just brushed it off.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
But before we get into the exact mechanics of how they pull off this survival trick, I want to quickly mention our sponsor, Silk. Because just like nature perfectly engineered survival automation for these bees, you might need help with AI training or automation or integration or even software development.
Well, that is a great point.
Yeah, you can uncover where agents could make the most impact for your business or personal life by checking out embersilk.com for your AI needs. So getting back to the bees, we have to ask how they actually accomplish this underwater survival.
Well, the 2026 mechanistic study showed that the first step is profound metabolic depression.
Because when a queen enters winter hibernation, her metabolism already drops by over 95%.
Precisely. But being fully submerged forces it down another sixfold. They operate at less than 1% of their active metabolic rate.
Which drastically lowers their baseline need for oxygen.
Exactly. But they still need some oxygen, right? So how do they get it without drowning?
This is my favorite part of the study. The bee floof.
Yes, the famous bumblebee floof.
They have these incredibly dense hydrophobic hairs that trap a microscopic layer of air right against their bodies.
They essentially build their own scuba gear. This allows them to pull dissolved oxygen straight out of the water while keeping their breathing spiracles mostly closed.
Wait, though. Even with a physical gill, a week is a really long time. Doesn't that microscopic air bubble eventually run out of oxygen?
It absolutely can. But when oxygen levels in that trapped layer drop too low, the queens seamlessly switch to an anaerobic backup system.
So a metabolic process that does not require oxygen at all.
Right. It produces lactate in their tissues. It is actually the exact same process that happens in human muscles during a heavy workout.
And then once they are back on dry land, they just spend about a week recovering and naturally clearing that lactate out. It is such a remarkably robust failsafe.
When you step back and look at the whole system, it stands as a brilliant testament to evolutionary ingenuity. It reminds you of the hidden, brilliant solutions life develops to adapt and thrive.
It really is uplifting. It makes you think if fuzzy backyard bumblebees possess the secret superpower to become tiny hibernating scuba divers, what other mind-blowing biological marvels are hiding right beneath our feet, just waiting for a happy accident to reveal them to you.
There is so much left to discover.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.